Imagine having to pay to breathe.
Hey everyone, welcome to the first episode of Into the Lens, where we will be talking about different injustices around the world. My name is Maliyah.
My name is Tristan.
Elvira.
Hi.
Jafet.
Hey.
Today we have a special topic about air pollution disparities and how air pollution has a higher impact on low-income individuals because they lack economic resources like high-paying jobs.
Okay, so before we get started, is there anything you guys already knew about air pollution?
Well, I knew about air pollution and how it affects and causes climate change, but I didn't know necessarily that air pollution disparities existed.
I agree. I heard about air pollution, but air pollution disparity is something very new to me.
Have you guys ever noticed how you can look at like a downtown? Well, you can look at downtown or basically any city, and you can like physically see the air.
Yes, I have
and, like,
seen that.
burn.
Yeah, I have seen that, especially like in the mornings and the afternoons. You can see like the clouds over the buildings, and then if you look like in another direction, it's completely clear.
Yeah, actually, me and Elvira were taking the bus this morning, and we were just talking about how different the air is from our neighborhood and coming to school, right?
Yeah.
Okay, but do you all know what creates the dark clouds?
No, not really, apart from like carbon dioxide.
Yeah, but it'll be very interesting to know about that.
Well, air pollution is formed by molecules such as nitrogen dioxide, carbon monoxide, sulfur dioxide, and particulate matter. Particulate matter is the small particles of metals, dust, and chemicals that form the dark clouds we are able to see.
And these toxic chemicals also have an effect on our epigenetics. Genetics are when your environment or how you act or your behaviors can change the way your genes work together. So because all this contaminated air that we breathe in the environment, it affects the way our genes work, and it usually has a negative side effect.
So we know what air pollution is, but what exactly is air pollution disparities?
Well, I read an article from the American Lung Association, and it said that air pollution disparities are when, and I quote, the burden of air pollution is not evenly shared. Poor people and some racial and ethnic groups are among those who often face higher exposure to pollutants and who may experience greater responses to such pollution, end of quote.
And these disparities mainly arise because of house dynamics, and which means poor communities are usually put in areas where the air quality is low.
Yeah, so basically, affordable homes for low-income families are usually found in highly populated areas, many of which are surrounded by industries that emit particulate matter. And these families can't afford to rent or buy a home in a less polluted area, so they don't have any other choice but to sacrifice it there.
Right. And these individuals often live close to industries, agriculture, construction, heavy duty vehicles, and many of these cause health related problems.
Yeah, it's very unfair how these families have to live in these conditions. And the worst part is that many of them can't get a higher social position that will help them afford a more comfortable place to live. But they can't get a higher social position if racism takes place.
Yes, I totally agree. I read an article from NCBI that said that a survey was found that 1/3 of African Americans and 20% of Hispanics reported being passed over for a job or promotion because of their race or ethnicity.
Yes, and it's not even the racism that they may experience at their jobs or workplace, but also when looking for a home. There was a study done by the Department of Housing and Urban Development measuring housing discrimination against African Americans, Latinos, Asians, and Native Americans in different areas. And the study basically revealed that there was a bias against Blacks and Hispanics experiencing finding new homes. This discrimination was seen through not informing people of the housing options, not helping them financially, and not giving them access to see the houses.
And it makes sense because if they can't afford a house or get a higher social position, they won't be able to afford healthcare either, which is kind of crucial for them to treat these problems that come from the toxic chemicals they breathe in.
Yeah, and it's all just a loop. Actually, did you guys know that racial and ethnic minorities and lower income groups in the U.S. are at higher risk of premature death from exposure to air pollution than any other population and income group? And again, these include Hispanics, African Americans, and people with disabilities.
This is very shocking, at least for me, because I never imagined the severity of this issue, let alone that it causes so many deaths, especially because I can relate to this. I live by the Bay Area, where there are many industrial boats that are constantly blowing out air. And when I go outside my apartment, I can see the dark smoke, and this honestly makes me scared to breathe that air.
And air pollution can harm them most when it sits in the air in high enough concentrations. So it means the greater the air pollution, or the more there is, the greater the health concerns are.
In fact, people exposed to high enough levels of certain air pollutants may experience asthma, lung cancer, Alzheimer's, autism, fetal growth, and lower birth weight.
Now for our video.
Particle pollution refers to tiny pieces of solids or liquids in the air, consisting of contaminants like dust, dirt, soot, and smoke. Nearly 21 million people in the U.S. are estimated to live in counties with unhealthy levels of particle pollution year-round.
It really is the byproduct of combustion, and it comes to very small, much smaller than a human hair. These bits of or particles that are in the air. You can often see them when you look at a sunset and you see all that haze in the evening. Well, that can get into your lungs and can cause a wide range of harm.
Ground-level ozone pollutants are often better known by another name, smog. It's created when pollutants from cars, power plants, and other known sources chemically react in the air under sunlight. More than 123 million people in the U.S. are thought to live in counties with bad ozone pollution, just over 28 million of them being children, and 18.2 million aged 65 or older.
This clip made me remember I read an article from the ALA that stated, quote, a 2016 study of a New Jersey residents found that the risk of dying early from long-term exposure to particle pollution was higher in communities with larger African American populations, lower home values, and lower median income. Studies of Atlanta, Georgia found that particle pollution increased the risk of asthma attacks for zip codes where poverty was high and among people eligible for Medicaid.
I also read an article that said air pollution affects neurodevelopment, leading to lower cognitive test outcomes, negatively affecting mental and motor development. So it's saying that toxins slow down how the brain is able to work and grow for kids, even.
Yeah, and it's even worse if people are already suffering from pre-existing health conditions, like for example diabetes. They not only have to worry about like their pre-existing health conditions, but also those that they are at risk to develop. And it's not like these individuals are choosing to live in these areas. It's just that they have no other choice.
And many people think that it's so easy for them just to switch communities, but for these individuals, it's very difficult to get a comfortable environment.
Yeah, we can't make a change without first stopping the socioeconomic gaps, because if not air pollution, disparities will continue to persist.
So, what do you think can be done?
Well, we can start by fighting for equity issues and joining protests, sending petitions, and spreading awareness. I know that the Clean Air Act helps put in place laws that help reduce and limit the number of emissions created by industries. So we can fight to also engrave a law that will prevent industries from functioning in low-income areas and instead be away from the population. Right now, this seems to be the best solution. Unfortunately, the air pollution disparities don't seem to be fully in our hands. I know it seems difficult, guys, but together, we will make a change.
Yes, and the only way we can stop this issue is if we advocate for it and if we push officials to make a change.
Yeah. Is there anything else anyone would like to add?
Yes, I would like to add that even though this topic is about different communities affected by air pollution disparities, the environment is also being majorly affected as well. And how we can't stop these disparities without first decreasing air pollution or any pollution at all. If we continue to create toxins, this feeds into climate change, which will cause many natural disasters that will end up affecting the low-income communities even more.
Yeah, and the main problem is pollution itself and also socioeconomic organization, because as Maliyah just said, pollution will only hurt the environment more and affect the low-income community even worse.
Yeah, it's a very difficult topic to try and solve because it involves many causes. But like I said, as we have started to see, things are changing, and hopefully we will start seeing these changes in society.
Yeah, hopefully we start making and advocating for change.
Yes. And hopefully for our kids it will be a better place to live.
Well, that's our time, everyone. Don't forget to look in the description box for more links about this topic. I hope everyone enjoyed this episode, and remember to stay tuned for our next. Also, we wanted to give a big thank you to Climate and Clean Air Program at NRDC for working to safeguard the earth, its people, and the environment. Until next time.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Adios.